I really enjoyed the film The Seeds We Sow. I think for any film to hold the attention for 50 minutes plus is a real achievement. I've seen 1 minute films where I've found my attention wander, but this film really holds its own right up to the two very satisfying twists at the end of the story. You can tell it's a gargantuan effort, from the writing to the casting and to the thing that I'm going to single out, which is the locations. It's very difficult for amateurs to find authentic locations, particularly with budgetary restrictions and the things that professionals have but amateurs simply don't have. But I think the locations chosen for this film, from the outdoor locations through to the very creditable police office, really were very, very well thought out. Well done to all the filmmakers involved. It's a very satisfying watch.
As always, Anna and Arf did a wonderful job in finding locations for the film. The country house we went to up by Scarborough was really ideal for the filming, and there was even a bar in there, and we could have fun in the evenings, drinking together and talking about the day's filming.
This story initially was based on something that happened, that really did happen. I wrote a script about it. So one day they said to me, have I got a script? Yes. Can we have a go with it? Yeah. They read it and they said, well, can we change it? And I said, you do exactly what you like with it. It is now yours. It's not mine. So I've sort of watched it develop over the phone, and I've been on 1 or 2 shoots. The real disappointment was not being able to go away to the stately home. But never mind. So yes, I'll be part of it, but a passive active part, if you like. So I have enjoyed it, and I actually think it's a very good film.
I've watched The Seeds We Sow by Anne and Arf Fletcher, and I'm very, very impressed. It's the culmination of an amazing career by Anne and Arf. The story really gripped me. Very clever story with some surprising twists.
What I really enjoyed about Seeds We Sow was the story. I didn't know where it was going. I was intrigued to see what the outcome would be, and therefore I found it very satisfying.
The first thing to say is that it's a story that I enjoy because it is a police procedural, and I love detective stories and all that genre. So it gave me a very positive feel when I realised what was going to unfold. The story itself has the tropes that fans expect from detectives and police procedurals, things like the weak detective who's got this very torn emotional background and so on. And I don't consider them cliches at all. I consider them strengths of detective stories, because fans want them and expect them, and it sort of grounds the story in a type of reality that we want. It's not really reality. It's something to do with acknowledging that the detective is not the all-seeing, all-wonderful genius, but has flaws, and despite the flaws, still manages to win in the end.
Well, I've always enjoyed Anne and Arf's films. I've been involved in quite a few of them, and I've always enjoyed the experience, and I think they do a very good job of, setting everything up. For me, in The Seeds That Sow, I loved the scene with the torches. I thought it really was atmospheric and very cinematic, and really well done. And, I appreciate what Anne and Arf do. I think they're very good at what they do.
The pace is good, in my opinion, because none of the scenes overstay their welcome. They don't sort of drift to an end. We get the point, something happens, and then it stops, and then we're somewhere else. So the story unfolds quickly and very smoothly. So all the way through the film, I thought the pace worked well.
Generally speaking, I thought the lighting was wonderful. And also, to give you an example, right at the very beginning, the bar scene. So simple, and yet the lighting was very cleverly done. You have the practicals above the bar, but all the characters are extremely well lit, which obviously was not done by those practical lights.
The Seeds We'll Sow is quite an interesting film. There's lots of very dramatic moments in it that show up some good acting performances. And I particularly like the bedroom scene where the shoe was found under the bed.
The acting was excellent throughout, especially Carl Foster and Lizzie Small, who played his daughter. Very, very good indeed.
I think the thing that really sold The Seeds We Sow for me was the main two characters. I think Lizzie and Carl were perfectly cast. They worked really well together, very believable. They had all the gestures and mannerisms of father and daughter, and they're very well directed. I think the director clearly had a vision for what he wanted, and it all came together for those two. So that was a real strong point for me.
I really enjoyed watching the film, and I like the relationship between the father and the daughter, the close relationship. And I like the scene where the daughter was playing her guitar, and then her father had to go out, and she was sitting on the stairs and she rolled her eyes as if, here we go again.
The scene in the police station when Samantha is being interviewed by the two policemen, the acting was superb in that, and very realistic.
My favourite part was obviously Danny's scene, being my daughter. The natural acting that she portrayed was brilliant, and the other actors in the scene, it was Phil and Carl as the police detectives. I enjoyed that. Proud of my daughter. They did really well. It would come across really natural, and Danny said what she really liked was the way that Arthur spoke to her and told her how he wanted the character, the emotion of the character that he wanted portrayed, and she felt that really helped her in her performance. So well done, Anne and Arf, well done, really enjoyed it.
There were a number of scenes with head-to-head dialogue which I thought were really good, and there's one that I would highlight, and that's the scene between Mike and his mother when Mike is desperately trying to find out who his dad was, and she's not able to tell him because she doesn't know. I thought that was a really powerful scene. It made a big emotional impact, very well scripted and acted and filmed, so that was great stuff.
Anne and Arf Productions are always well written, well planned and well executed. The Seeds We Sow was no exception.
I love working with Anne and Arf because their philosophy is for everybody to get together and have fun making films.
When we were filming The Seeds We Sow, there was always somebody doing something technical that you could learn from.
And Anne is so good with the actors. She looks after everybody while Arf goes off and does all the technical stuff.
I think one of my best memories of The Seeds We Sow is while we were away filming, we missed one of the Sutton Coldfield movie makers' evenings. So Arf had organised for us to shoot a scene live up in Yorkshire and live feed it into the club via a Zoom link that we'd set up. It was quite technical in the actual setup, but we had about 15 or 20 minutes. We shot the scene live, and we had a chat with a few of the crew and a few of the actors as well, which I thought was really, really good. Technically difficult, but we all pulled it off, and I think it went down very well. It was certainly a first for most of us.
I enjoyed going up to Yorkshire to film Seeds We Sow because, well, it's just good to get off somewhere, isn't it? You know what I mean? And finding the way there and missing the entrance and then having to drive down this little windy track, and then there's this amazing great house at the end of it. Yeah, that was terrific. And it's great when you're bringing somebody along because, that's all very jovial too. Yeah, it was great.
As always, they planned the day's filming very carefully to give us plenty of time for free time for ourselves and to enable us to go out and do some day trips around the area.
The sense of togetherness was really positive. Anne and Arthur have always been strong about setting things up, getting people to know where they need to be and what they're going to do.
Anne and Arthur have a wonderful way of encouraging people when they're doing the filming, and they're not always complaining about doing things wrong. They're more interested in people doing things right and encouraging you to have a go and to do your best.
So when they asked me to do a little part in Seeds We Sow, I was a bit nervous, but they're not pernickety. They're not saying you've got to get word for word perfect. They want you to sort of look at the lines and say, and then they just let me do what I felt I needed to do as a mother in the situation with Carl. And yeah, they were so encouraging afterwards. It was lovely. I really feel like I could do it again.
And I love the enormous entrance hall, and there was a scene where Jules had to go up the stairs in a frumpy drunken state, and but she had to be talking all the way up the stairs, and I'd pop the radio mics on the stairs, which was fun. It's good to try new stuff, isn't it?
The main thing I took away from that experience was the overall whole collaborative effort of the team. Everybody had a positive contribution to make, and they were happy to make it. There was a general team feel.
I think the best thing about being involved in the Seeds We Sow is like anything I've been involved with Anne and Arf in, is confidence that because they do so much work before we ever get out of their house sort of thing. There's never any reshoots. You know it's going to work well, and it's going to be enjoyable, and there's going to be a good film at the end of it. So it's the confidence to believe in that. I've been away with them 3 times now, and I've been in quite a few of their films, and you just know it's all going to work well and it's going to look good at the end. So
I was a member of the crew on The Seeds We Sow, behind the camera, you'd be pleased to hear, and for the sake of the audience. I always find their films are excellent in the way they're organised. So much pre-work goes into it, with timing, schedules, blocking, and getting everyone's diary together. Such a lot of work done by Anne on this. And Arth, when we're on set, it's always a cheery but well organised setup where everyone takes part. And at the end of the day, you've really enjoyed a very good film session. Okay, Arf. You can take that knife out the back now. Cheers for now.
The whole thing was ambitious and they pulled it off. Wonderful.
Many congratulations for producing something that I enjoyed watching very much. I understand that you've made a decision to step back from filmmaking, but you have a very long history of productions behind you that you can be proud of, and probably lots of wonderful memories of developing the films and bringing them to reality. I can imagine that because you are so good at story writing, you will continue to think of stories and ideas for stories that maybe you can share with club members, or maybe you can help them develop their script ideas in ways that are very fulfilling for you and for the other club members.